Today, I wanted to address a couple questions I got on the Discord about how you can utilize HIP with a black box enterprise firewall. I have with me today this here Fortinet 60E enterprise firewall. Now, of course, like in an open source scenario, such as OpenWRT, you can run HIP directly on the edge device itself, and it does its job nicely there. It's a very simple topology. You don't need anything fancy. It runs right on there. However, with a black box enterprise firewall, you cannot run your own software directly on the device. So what do? Well, let's say you have this scenario here where you have a remote computer running HIP and Fortinet client. You're trying to connect in through an untrusted network such as the internet to this Fortinet thing. It's running an IPsec VPN gateway, so your Fortinet client's connecting to the gateway. And it has a local in policy that doesn't allow IKE traffic on port 500. You're going to get blocked. Now, by default, this local in policy doesn't exist. Normally, it would just allow everything to connect in, so that's the whole world. Well, one way that I've come up with that you can accomplish this is you can run the HIP daemon on its own system and configure a span port to mirror traffic off the FortiGate. The HIP-D system would also need a control channel back, so that way it can program the FortiGate to accept traffic once it sees that an authentic knock sequence has been made. I recommend you have 2 dedicated NICs on the machine running HIP-D, so that way you can leave the interface connected to the span port up, but with no IP address assigned to it. It's just observing traffic. And the other NIC that's connected to the control network, it does need an IP address so it can communicate with the FortiGate through the API. But this is on the internal side. You can pretty much use this type of configuration for any black box enterprise firewall system. But anyways, let me show you a live demonstration of this. All right, we're back in the lab here. The lab is loaded up according to the diagram. I've got the Fortinet client VPN solution installed here. And I'll be assuming the perspective of the laptop at the top of the diagram. Now we do have that local in policy configured. So by default out of the box, Fortinet basically allows connections in from anywhere, as long as it's on the interface that you bind the VPN to. But you can define a local in policy. So I've actually done that, and I've overridden the default, and I've restricted it to not allow any connections at all from anywhere by default. So I'm expecting that this is going to fail here because I haven't ran HIP. While we wait, I'm going to start a ping to an internal server, so that way when it does eventually connect, we'll be able to see ping responses here. And we see up top here, it went back to this login form and stopped trying again, so it did fail to connect. Now, I haven't ran HIP, like I said, but I do have it all set up and configured. We've got our HIP secret here, which is, again, like if you've seen my other video, you'll know that this secret is combined with the system time to generate an authentic knock sequence. So we can now use HIP knock, and we can hit the FortiGate IP address here, and that's going to hit it with 4 different messages. And again, these ports are generated based on the secret and the time. So now that it's seen an authentic knock sequence come in, I'm expecting that if we try again here, it's going to let us connect. And if it does let us connect, we'll also see ping responses here. So that looks good already. And there we are. We have ping responses. It's just that easy. So what is going on here, really? Well, if you're interested in that, you should check out my other video. I'll link it here. It basically does a deep dive into what HIP and the Hide Your Ports project is and what it can do. This is just one demonstration of how you can apply it on an enterprise firewall. If you're interested in following the project, though, be sure to subscribe. If you have any ideas for the project, leave a comment. And if you want to help with the project in any way, please give me an email at himself@stephenpoli.net. At this time, I'm mostly looking for help with integrations with other platforms, whether they be writing scripts to interact with their APIs or providing equipment for me to set up in the lab so I can do it myself. Thanks. Oh, and of course, a special thank you to Fortinet. They're the only firewall vendor who's ever given me a free device, so thank you.